Welcome, everyone. It's Friday, just after 10 o'clock. It's April 10th. This is where we gather. What is the name of this class? It's Finding the Word.
Sharing the word.
Sharing the Word. Thank you. I apologize for that. We are gathered here this morning to take a look at Paul Selig's work, Divine Union, and hopefully everyone has the book. We're going to take turns reading through the book, and I had marked my place where we were, but of course I've lost it. So I found it. We're on page 4 in the introduction, right at the top of the page, the beginning of that first paragraph, now new frame. But before we start with our reading, and we're going to watch a clip, and I have my notes from last week, believe it or not, because I wanted to let some folks that didn't get to read last week start out reading this week. And that would be, if you're interested, it would be May and John who would lead us off this week. And then anyone else that wants to read, you can raise your hand at the appropriate time. So, all right, May says okay. And so Cindy has a clip for us. So let's start off with that clip. Thanks, Cindy.
In order to transform the template that the common field holds, you must become willing to become aware of the inherent divine that must, underline must, be present in all manifestation. Now you can say that the gun or the bomb is not holy, and indeed the action of the gun and the bomb would not be deemed as holy, but what makes the gun or the bomb or the fire in the fireplace or the lamb in the roasting pot in the oven must be understood still as of source. The application of it utilized through will, operating at a level of separation or segmentation, can be understood as other. So the thing itself, the rock itself, is holy. However, if you utilize the rock to harm somebody, you have chosen to enable the rock to be serving the small self or personality will. A country may do this. An individual does this frequently without even acknowledging that she is. To begin to understand that the transposition of reality encourages you to begin to perceive what is not pleasant and begin to understand what can be reseen as of God actually has purpose. And the purpose is not to pretend that people don't do atrocious things, or that there are not heinous acts committed, and that there are not wars that kill and maim. It is to claim the presence of the divine where it has been most denied. And when you do this, you are operating in high truth. Not convenient truth, not personal truth, not political truth, and not religious truth. When we teach you truth, we will always say this: what is true is always true. Now, at this level of reality, it is always true that the man sitting before you is speaking, and that we are intoning through him as we are able to be spoken. And it is always true in this moment that you are listening. It is not always true that you are listening or that he is speaking, but at this moment, in this idea of time, and understand this, at this level of vibrational accord, it is always true. When you lift to what is true beyond the idea of the moment, you will begin to claim things far beyond the small parameters that you have decided things can be known as with and through. You understand things now through the clock. You understand things now with the calendar before you. I see this appointment on Thursday, and on Friday I do this or that. While you understand that this may be true at the level of the common field where you share the idea of time, you must understand that when you lift to what we call the upper room, which is the level of vibration beyond the common field, or the octave of tone that exists beyond the octave you think of as your reality, you will understand that time and the calendar as you understand them are actually malleable. Because the divine self, or the God within you, does not and cannot be moored in time and space in a level that is convenient for you. You have understood the idea that you may know Spirit, Source, God, if you wish to call it that, only in the ever-present now, and that is true. And your understanding of the past and the idea you hold of a future can only be known in the ever-present now. The idea of history that you hold is tainted in completeness by the level of fear that has been invoked at the time of the experience of it. We will claim this for you now, if we may do our best to explain an instruction that is often challenging. Because you were born into a field where fear is permeating, because you understand yourself in a common field where fear informs most things, every memory you hold is indeed tainted by fear, as if the lens of the camera that you are witnessing things through were sullied by the energy of fear, fingerprints, soot, old detritus that has clamored for attention that remains there, and you memorize things or remember things based on the residual affect of the experience in agreement with the fear that was present at the time. So understand this. While it is true that you were frightened when you were 12, it is true that you were rageful when the partner left you. While it is true that people do this thing or that thing that you don't approve of, you must also understand that your interpretation of most everything is born in a common field where the values and the morals and the claims made upon the manifest plane were done so in agreement with fear. Now, we'll give you an example of this if you wish it. There were gods that some prayed to that required a sacrifice to a volcano upon an altar, perhaps a cross. There were gods that some attended to that would smite all human beings by flood or would claim them in the ash of a volcano. And the understanding that you have a punishing God that might send you to an idea of hell, or if you behave nicely to some idea of heaven, would give you some understanding of the level of fear that you have been operating under. And because the level of fear that you have been operating under has been so present, you don't even really perceive it as fear, just what you require to get through the day. We will give you the example of a swimming pool that others have utilized in ways that were not meant for swimming, and understand that you have been swimming in their old residue for some time without even understanding it. The idea of separation is born at this level or construct of fear. The idea that if there is source or an idea of God, it is someplace other, that you must find the priest, or you must find the soothsayer, or you must find the medicine woman to give you access to, would give you some understanding of where you have come to reside. To begin to understand that once you move beyond the common field to what we call the upper room, you will begin to hold a potential for an experience that expresses beyond the old, and beyond the old distortion. beyond the old camouflage, beyond the dirty lens of the camera that you have utilized to define what reality should be, seems to be, or what you would have be, based upon prior instruction and prior learning, and you will begin, underline, begin to perceive the divine that is in fact always present.
Thank you, Cindy. So does anybody have any thoughts about, or responses, or feelings, or inspiration from what we just heard? Sounds to me like we are, it's funny. Sometimes the guides inspire me to think that we are really on the way to a new beginning of something. And other times the guides tell us that we're really at the threshold, that we're just starting to get there, and that we're not quite there yet. And, maybe we won't get there fully in the experience that we're having as these bodies. I loved his swimming pool analogy. That was pretty funny. And I appreciate the teaching that we're all swimming in fear that we've become so acclimated to that we don't really recognize that it's all around us, and that it's a it's a fundamental motivation for most of us. Cindy, and then Indigo.
Yeah, I'd just like to say this is from the most recent intensive, and we'll be listening to one of the fuller channelings on Monday. And I'm really grateful every time I am reminded that we were born into this experience of fear and the denial of the divine. Therefore, what we're asked to do is to basically allow the tone to do the work, to ease off on the effort a little bit and understand that we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. And we can't even imagine the experience that they're pointing to. And yet they have indicated that this is where we're going, and we could we can loosen our grip and allow the tone to do the work, and we can claim something other than what's been known in the collective. And yeah, so to me, that's a part of it. I'm ready to be like I could be lifted out of that swimming pool, but I can't do it without the assistance of what is outside of it. So that's
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
swimming in right now. Trust.
So I will call on Indigo in a second, but I want to share that about 20 years ago, my teacher, Zoe Marai, didn't call it a swimming pool. She said we were in the tar. And when you move through tar, it's dark and black and sticky and smelly, and it feels really heavy. And every step you take through the tar requires a lot of effort and a lot of will. And she described it as that a ladder had been sent down and was now in the tar, and that we could climb out of the tar if we wanted to climb up the ladder. So she didn't use the swimming pool analogy, but I like that tar analogy because sometimes it does feel like it's very heavy and sticky. Thank you. And Dago, good morning.
Hi, so great to be here with all of you. It's interesting. So I think I told you how much I just love being silent. That's just my favorite thing, because that's when I'm with my father, or that's when I'm with God, Ramana. And I don't even remember what I was going to say. and and also too, it's been interesting. So like from this brain injury, I've that's part of it. Is like I would want to say something, but the words when I would talk. So orally, I don't understand anything. I'm like a baby. I don't understand anything I hear. I don't understand. I don't have a clue what it means. Like if you say the word cat orally, I don't know what you said. To me, it's like you said garbage or you said tomato. My brain doesn't understand it. But I was just guided recently. Don't worry about it. Just to let everything just be as it is. And to just get quiet. I love getting quiet. And I'm learning that, whatever is happening is perfect. I don't need to change it. I can just be honest where I'm at. I can be angry if I'm angry. I mean, I don't yell anymore. I'm just angry within, and I'm like, I'm fucking pissed off or whatever it is. And then I ask God. I said, okay, God, I'm so pissed off, and I don't know what to do. Show me what to do. And it takes me maybe 5, maybe 10, I don't know how many. And then God always shows me what to do, and I'm just like, and and when God shows me what to do, it comes with so much love, and everything's perfect. And I'm just so happy. And I don't know why I'm so happy, but I'm just so happy. And it's just this love that we all are that just comes through. So I'm like, okay, I'm okay with whatever's happening, I'm okay with. Because I remember this love that we all are. And I don't care about anything else because I'm just so happy from this love that we all are. Um, so yeah, and I it's amazing to me, and it's amazing for me to go through this shit, and then to just remember, okay, it's okay, this shit's okay. So thank you. I just love being here.
Thank you. We love you being here. Thank you, Indigo. John, you're
Yeah,
up next.
I love your happiness, Diego. I love your happy face. To see you smile and say that that you've got the love and that you got the anger too. That is so wonderful because that's the message we got today. You know that this is an expression of both love and fear. You know, and without bitching about either or whatever. You know, just being in a full acceptance of what you just said, the ever present now. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Whatever's showing up, whether it's negative, the anger, or the love, it's both. And I got to choose which bias I want to be expressing on. And I love that you share that. And I hear the ever present now when I hear you speak about cats and tomatoes and stuff like that. It's beautiful. It's to me, you're a witness of that talk, you know, and I'm so grateful for that and also the reminder that that hey, I'm part of this deal too, and I come from this negatively biased situation, and I've got to be on my toes, to be in a choice point about the expression that I choose to be in, of, and about in the ever present now. So thank you, Dago. I wasn't going to put my hand up, but wait, I'm not letting this pass me by. So I love you.
Thank you, John. Oh, anybody else? All right, let's get into this reading, into this new book. We're still in the introduction, so let's dive in. And May is going to start us off this morning at the top of page 4. And if you need me to put that into the chat, I'll put it into the chat. Otherwise, I will assume we all know where we are. And
Top
I
of page
think,
4.
thanks, May. I think what I'd like to ask you to do is just read the whole page up until the top of page 5 so that we
Starting
can.
at now, new frame.
Yes.
Or,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Now, new frame was an important phrase because you still have a body and you will continue to have a body until you don't. There is care for the body and the requirements for a physical reality. You are not abandoning physical reality by going on this journey with us. You are actually comprehending physical reality in a much higher way than you could possibly have known prior, and for one simple reason: the velocity of tone, the idealization of a unified field that can be comprehended is now present, can be attended to, and now can be moved in and around and through for the benefit of all. Notice we said that for the benefit of all. It is very important that you understand this. We are not taking you on a vacation to the upper realms so that you can bring back your Polaroids and share them with your friends. We are showing you experientially what we know and how we see, how we agree to the ideas of time and space as they may be utilized well, without demanding that we succumb to the parameters that time and space holds. Because you have bodies and ways of being in a world that will still be a shared structure, but in an altered sense, the idea of frame persists. But we are expanding this frame to be inclusive of the cosmic self, or the self that exists beyond time and space for a need for linearity to decide how things should be. Now, indeed, you age. The body goes through circumstance. You are outside in cold weather. You need a big coat. It is too hot outside. You take off your clothing and bathe in the sun. You understand that when the sun goes down, you may need to rest. These are things that you agree to, but the realization of these things in the upper room and in an altered state are very different than what you think they are, because the linearity that you experience here does not have to express. Underline the word have to in the higher field. When we take you to the upper room, we leave you at the entryway. That is where we bring you through the claims we have offered. I am in the upper room. I have come, I have come, I have come. What you realize there, how you realize yourself, or better said, are realized, is actually succumbing to the vibration that is the upper room and allowing it to serve you.
There's a lot in there. Thanks, May.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I can see Cindy is re-underlining, probably for the 5th time. Every time you read through this, you want to underline something else. Go, Cindy. But you have to unmute. There you go.
I'll just tell you, it's the last line. What you realize there, how you realize yourself, or better said, are realized, is actually succumbing to the vibration that is the upper room and allowing it to serve you more and more and more, at least in today, since today, my experience of today continues to be this invitation to surrender this sense of a separate self into something greater. And this line is telling me that too. The other image I keep receiving is going for a massage. And if I want to take full advantage of the massage, I have to let go. I can't control the experience. I have to trust the masseuse. And if I'm not trusting the masseuse, then I'm going to tighten every muscle, and the masseuse could work, she or he could be the greatest massage therapist in the world, and it won't do me a damn bit of good. So this understanding of succumbing to the vibration that is the upper room is an act of surrender and willingness.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I'm just continually getting that message that I don't know. I don't know. Um, am I willing to trust? The last line of my contemplation this morning is, am I some version of, what doubts the benevolence of God? Am I willing to trust these teachings enough to let go? And this line is just part of, is stating that too. I have to let the massage therapist do her job, or else it won't work.
Thank you. I'm going to jump in here. There's been a lot moving in this field in the past few days. And one of the things that jumps out to me is something that relates to one of the things that happened last night in our 4 o'clock gathering, Finding the Advaita in A Course in Miracles. And in that gathering, there was an attempt to, in my perception, there was an attempt to do something that we all do, but that is to essentially negate the experience of being in this world by retreating to the position that, well, it's all just one. It's all just one. Everything is one. And while we understand that that is true, it is our experience, it is what we are called upon as we find ourselves here in this experience of being a body. What we are called upon to do is to have the experience of knowing oneself, the oneness, and the other as the oneness, even as we are experiencing the body and the emotions and the personal self. And what this reading says to me is, you will continue to have a body until you don't. I'm reading from what May first started reading. There's care for the body. There are requirements for the body. You're not abandoning the physical reality by going on this journey with us. You are actually comprehending physical reality in a much higher way than you could have known prior. So, as I say so often, we are walking and chewing gum at the same time. We are moving from program B to program A while program B is still running, and we are experiencing the running of both those programs at the same time. Right? And so I am sort of renewing my own commitment here to really acknowledge in my own self, but also in Thursday night's gathering, when we try to do a spiritual bypass and just go to everything is just one. And so I'm just going to rest in my oneness. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. Rest in your oneness. That's fine. But my guess is that even if you do that for a few hours, at some point you're going to get up and have to feed the body, because that's the experience that we're having here. And so I just want to put that on the table, and I'll thank you for allowing me to express. Lonnie, thank you for raising your hand.
What this, interestingly, last night, and what this speaks to for me is this, what's been on our table of consideration and witnessing is this experience of being consumed by the divine, but also the experience of being assumed by the divine. It, you know, and I almost want to say allowing, but I don't, allowing is not the proper word. Getting out of my own way. Somebody here used that once before, but I think that the word is what Cindy used. It's the surrender. Being willing to know absolutely nothing, or think I know absolutely nothing, and surrendering to exactly what is, and allowing, making room for what all those thoughts are to get out of the way, to be able to see clearly, and to allow that flow through the system. So when I listen to this, it brings me right back to that witnessing or that surrender that I'm walking, and this experience I'm having of not, and it's interesting, I say it like this, not being able to look any place and not see God. And it's not like I'm looking around trying to find a place where God is not. It's just everywhere, and I feel consumed. I feel, there's a word the kids use I can't find right now. But the other part of it is recognizing that I have come to a place of really trusting that what flows through and comes out is of God. And I got confirmation of that this morning with something that had happened. And I was worried about how it came out and worried about, was it something that served the person? And the person actually came back this morning and said, thank you. Thank you for coming exactly as you came. Because as hard as it was to hear, it was exactly what I needed.
Thank you. Thank you, Lonnie. I like that. Assumed and consumed by. Yeah. I'm looking for John. Are you there, John? Because you're up next to read. John, you're talking, but we can't hear you. There you go.
You can't hear me because I'm muted. What is the word that begins is it because of what? Where are we at?
Imagine. We're at the top of page 5. Imagine.
Imagine a wind that reshapes the mountain, that reclaims the shore. Imagine a wind that moves away what is no longer needed and calls forward what is. Succumbing, aligning, and agreeing to the upper room is the realization of what already exists. Once this occurs, the self has been remade. Behold, I make all things new, in alignment to what is always true. God is, God is, God is. Will be understood by each of you as a reframing of identity and consequently how one navigates the reality in a shared template that is being recreated. Underline being through your presence. Through your presence. Underline that as well. Through your presence. You don't become an idol. You are not denied. You're not being denied. You're not waving a magic wand and making all things new. In fact, you're doing very little, or the idea of you that would seek it to parade this. The aspect that is doing this is the monad, the Christ within. The divine self in a resurrected state that has acclimated not only to form, but field. And by field, we mean the body has been appropriate to serve as a conduit. And the energy field is the expression of this conduit. The conduit itself simply being the pipe that the divine flows through, or the light that you are, expressing within the idea of self that still holds form. Do you want me to stop there?
No, keep going to and read the next paragraph if you would, unless someone has a burning desire to speak. Which I don't see a hand raised, so
Can
The
I
activation
can
of
we
this
just
level of
point out the word shift? Because it's
I was going to wait, but please go ahead.
you don't become an idol. You're not being deified, as opposed to, I think I heard John say denied. So you are not becoming holy. You are already holy. But it's an important teaching that shows up in this work all the time. We're not making any individual God because everything is God. but we're also not denying anything. So, especially with what was just communicated, it's fun pointing that out.
Thank you very much. You don't become an idol. You are not being deified. Wow. The acclamation to this level of tone is challenging in many ways. When we teach through Paul, we bring him as far as we can in form to support our ability to teach effectively through him. The shift he is about to undergo as an energetic being, the shifts he is about to undergo as an energetic being are here to serve the work, less to his personal progression, but his ability to continue to be in service for the dictation and attunement that we would like to continue to offer through him. Those of you who hear these words or are present for these words, or one day read these words, understand yourselves in vibrational accord not only to him, but of us, with us, as we teach through him. We actually commandeer the energetic bodies for the purpose of transmission.
Thank you.
I hope I didn't miss any words there, Cindy. Thank you.
We got your tone and your vibration, John, and it was all perfect.
Oh, okay. It's not mine, it's coming through me. And I'm not being deified.
I would love to just make a point. Again, I'm going to draw on my teacher, Zoe Marai, from 30 years ago. This, the last sentence in the first paragraph, he's talking about the conduit simply being the pipe that the divine flows through, or the light that you are. And Zoe used to talk about the mental body, the physical body, and the spiritual body, or the energetic body, but she meant the spiritual body. She said the physical body is often over here, and the mental body is off over here, and the spiritual body is somewhere else, unable to get through. But she said, when you align in flow so that the mental body and the spiritual body and the physical body, so mental, physical, and spiritual, are lined up, then the divine just flows through unimpeded. Most of the time, it's impeded. I don't know if you heard that or not, but my dog is dreaming. And so you're not a perfect conduit, right? The body is impeded from its full reception of the divine energy. And that is being in flow. So I thought
I think your dog was agreeing with you because you just said it when you're unimpeded when you're allowed to flow, and the dog made a big racket. So
she's having a good dream. Oh, dog is God spelled backwards.
yeah.
So being in flow, when are we in flow? We can only be in flow, as Patricia and William remind us all the time, in the moment. In that moment when we're allowing, succumbing, aligning, agreeing to whatever is arising. That's being in flow, and that's being the conduit.
Yeah. I was thinking about how like in yesterday and sometimes like throughout this week, especially like when people sometimes bring up like we're not the body at all. But it's like true, but also we are the spirit embedded in the body. And I think it's much more helpful to think of awareness as just like, yeah, like non-local. Like it is localized in this, but it's also expansive. It fills the whole room, it fills the whole earth, it fills the whole universe. It can kind of be a both and approach to that. But if we hang too closely to we are not the body, we're completely exempting ourselves from aspects of experience that we are meant to like embrace and envelop and utilize. Like it is as conduit. Like it's a fully, yeah, both are
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. So spirit isn't necessarily in the body. The body is arising within the consciousness and the awareness that we are, right? We're never not that, and we're never fully the body, but we can have the experience as consciousness, as awareness of being in a body. And that appears to be what's arising now, right? We're all in agreement to that, right? Thank you. William, you're up next.
I just resonate with the words a wind in a conduit and knowing, because in the knowing is the NOW of moment, that presence being the pipe, but just being the presence within it. I don't know what any words mean. I don't even want to know. I remember certain words that seem to resonate and they do something like nothing needs to change. Nothing. So it's love and fear, fear, love. And I love when it says, just being the conduit, letting the divine flow. It's expressing within the idea of the self that still has form. So it's form, okay, but what does that even mean? It's like let go, let go, let go. It's just this continual process of now, let go. I don't know. All that is just, and I love the power. I love the the stickiness. I can't escape being present. And it is. I like this wind. It's conduit. It's like it's just. I'm just here, just here, just here, just here. Now, now, now. Somehow, and when I hear a label, like if it's my name, that brings me back into fear. Just the labeling. The moment I hear my name, it's just okay, and then let go and be the conduit. Okay, so it's just there's just a wind blowing through this whole. I can feel it in each little pocket of wind. It's like an up current and then a down current and then okay. So thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, William. Richard.
Morning, everyone. I love the discussion and what we're reading. What came to mind for me, was one of my favorite quotes from Rufus Spira. There are three possibilities in living: being something, being nothing, being everything. And the first there is suffering, and the second there is peace, and the third there is love and happiness. So I think that's what we're talking about, being everything, recognizing in awareness, everything is in awareness. So identifying as one or the other causes us to suffer.
Thank you.
No
That's a
one.
great reminder. That's a great reminder. Who wants to read next unless there's another comment?
You know I'll always read.
I know you will. I was gonna wait and see if I could let someone else raise their hand. But Cindy, take it away.
Okay. Once you are aligned in the upper room, as we have taught in prior texts, the manifestation of the idea of self begins to alter. Things fall away. Things lift and move. Things are surrendered. They are not rendered anew without your agreement that this can be so. And the challenges you face as you undergo this passage that is before you is a surrendering of selfishness, or the idea of self, personality self, as primary to your experience in a shared field. Now, to become selfless is not to abandon the egoic structure. It still has its uses. You have not disappeared, but indeed, you have been made new and will continue to be made new through the progressive acclimation that we are supporting you in. We do this in several ways. The language that we work with is actually encoded with vibration. Our words are chosen carefully. And if he ever makes a mistake in the language, we seek to correct quickly so that the texts that we offer may be accurate renderings not only of the ideas, but of the energy that supports the ideas, which is actually what you are responding to. The intellect is utilized, yes, but is not the primary vehicle of reception. The intellect interprets primarily what it can understand. The energetic body operates very differently. It is receptive, a conduit, and is always reforming, dependent upon the emotional state or the strata of vibration that an individual holds. When you are lifted to the upper room, you are not abandoning the emotional body. You are simply releasing the idea of attachment to how things should be and how you should respond to them through the personality structure, which is being rendered new along with the rest of you. What does that mean, he asks? Well, the egoic structure or personality self must be present in some way, because there is still discernment. There are still quirks of personality that are quite useful to you, for you, that are quite useful for you. The one who enjoys singing likes to have an audience to share her gift. It's really very simple. Let her sing away. The one who wants to dance and then teach others to dance through the freedom of his expression may indeed do so. But their true calling is their divine self manifesting as singer, as dancer, as teacher, as human being come in a new way. So there was a shock to my system. I'd like to tell you why. It's this idea of um, the importance of the specific words being used. I found myself in a process yesterday when I was being called to look at workbook lessons 128, 129, and 130 of sitting with the blue book and the purple book side by side. And there were two very specific differences between the two books that kind of shocked me a little bit. The first one is just in the title and in the way it's written of workbook lesson 128. And it's the world I see holds nothing that I want versus the world that I see has nothing that I want.
Mm.
The second is in, I think it was workbook 130, and it's in the text. And these words are capitalized. In one version, it says the power that or which, and the which or the that and the power are both capitalized. In the other book, it's the power who. It was a personal word, and I'm not getting that exactly right. And I sat with these changes, and there was a part of me that wanted to make it important. And I relaxed into the understanding that words are just vibration and be with the words and not, you know, spend a lot of time in determining why and where and what was originally intended. And now it feels like something just told me to step back and look at these sentences again and ask if that makes any sense. That the words, maybe the words are the vibration behind the words, the meaning behind the words, the whatever. I don't even know. There's a shock because I thought I had this settled, that it didn't matter. So anyway, that's where I am right now with what just happened here.
I'm going to just say respond, and then Lonnie's up next. I thought you were going to say something different because the Circle of Atonement book is based on the original notes. And part of what I really like about that is there's no editing. You know, when Helen and William got together and tried to make the book more readable or edit it or reorganize, that created a space for the human personality to come in. And so that's partly why I really enjoy the Circle of Atonement book in a different way than I enjoy the Blue book. And I thought you were going to say that, but
Well, I have a belief in that, but somehow there's also this. I spent a lot of time with Lisa, and Lisa's Bible is the blue book, right? So, because the other lesson that is the world. I give my life to God to run today is the way it reads in the purple book. In the blue book, it's I give my life to God to guide today. And to me, there's a real significance in those two statements. But I've had too many conversations with Lisa Natoli. Um, it just causes me a second to pause and go to my own inner guidance, and feels like whatever my inner guidance was asking me to take another look.
thank you. Lonnie, you're up. Good morning.
Good morning. This has been a real tripping point for me, especially since I've been introduced to A Course in Miracles and to the groups over there, because so often people say words mean nothing, words are nothing, words are just words. And we walk in a clear understanding that words carry frequency, words carry resonance, words, when I speak out, and say, I am this or I am that, or whatever I say comes through a filter of some kind that offers resonance into the field. And so I love when reading in this where they're letting you know that yes, words in a way are exactly what they're saying in the other text, but that in fact we do choose the words we use, and they have resonance and they have impact and effect on the field that we exist in. If that were not so, they wouldn't even be talking about how their words and what they say to you are packed with frequency. But all words have frequency, and the energy they travel through to be spoken. There's a frequency there of what we're offering into the field. I love you spoken through fear is very differently received than I love you spoken not through fear.
Mhm. Mhm. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Anyone else want to share? Anybody else want to read? Lonnie, you going to read? Okay, thank you.
You just got to tell me where we are because that moment is over for me.
At the bottom of page 6. I can't believe that we're still in the introduction. So I want to just, just mention that as a way to perhaps help us to really hold where all of this is still coming from. It's still the
We're
introduction.
just in the introduction.
Yeah, yeah. At the bottom of page 6.
Now, new way is important to understand. A new way exists beyond the old idea of should, of being in a place and a time with a name, in consort with other people in a place and a time with names. To move beyond this is to move to the cosmic self, who comprehends time and place, but is not bound by the ideas attached to them. In our last texts, we offered a claim: I am free, I am free, I am free. I have to tell you that every time that I speak that, there's this whole that goes through me. Because you are still bound by the idea of self-born and selfishness. The best you, the best you could know, you comprehend the self as free of the burdens that you may be facing. The burden of the marriage that doesn't work, the burden of the phobia, the burden of fear. But you don't understand the true ramifications of the claim. I am free. I am free of any idea of limitation born in an inherited field that I give authority to that becomes my God in limitation. I have to read that again. I am free of any idea of limitation born in an inherited field that I give authority to that becomes my God in limitation. To become free of these ideas, even the idea of time, allows you the experience of moving between realities. Now, you do this anyway in some ways. You just don't know that you do. When your imagination is operative, you are scanning possible futures, possible things to create, and nothing is claimed until it is first deemed a possibility. Realization, again, comes at the cost of the old, or the idea of what was, and almost none of you will attend to a potential that you cannot imagine can be so. While you do this, while still being tethered to form, you must understand something very important. At the level of tone that we are teaching at, you have adapted, underline that word, continually, consistently, to the refrain, I am in the upper room, which supports you at a level of realization that does not hold prior bias. And once this occurs, your expression is unbound and reclaimed through the act of receptivity, not commanding, not deciding, not figuring it out, but allowing this great wind that is needed, that is indeed God, to support your realization of the monad, expressing through the landscape that you know yourselves in. Underlying that, the world is altered, or your idea of reality, what can be manifest through your presence and being. Now think of it. Should I finish the page?
Um, let's stop there.
Okay.
There's a lot in that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Lonnie. That really spoke to me, especially what Lonnie read at the end was quantum physics. But the whole idea of being free to imagine things, I think is really beautiful. I mean, remember the saying, if horses were beggars, no, if wishes were horses, then beggars would ride. I remember that my mother saying that, and that really dampened my belief in thinking that I should imagine anything, because wishing and hoping and imagining were just bound to be disappointments. And what he's asking us to do is really let go of that whole idea and be free to imagine. And I love the quantum angle of that, in that ideas are what create material reality.
It's interesting because in some of the work that I do, we get into this thing of, you know, kind of talking to people about, well, if you dream about it, what's the dream about what this may look like? And what we started to notice is when people dream, they tend to dream why something can't happen. And so it's only when we invite them to dream how it can happen that they open up to other possibilities. But the why it can't happen always comes from a past of why it can't happen, always comes from that place of memory or trying to create out of something that already doesn't work. So that idea of opening to all possibilities right there.
Boy, does that feel good when you say that, Lonnie. I can just feel, um, I can feel a yes inside to that. Very much. William.
Well, what I just heard you say, Lonnie, is at the top of that page, because you're still bound by the idea of self, born in selfishness. The best you could know, you comprehend the self as free of the burden that you may be facing. And that's what I'm hearing you say. The why. That's 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 what free means to me, to this ego part of me, whatever that part, that self that I have learned to live with. And this is talking about something way beyond. And that's why I like the word wind. I don't control the wind, and the wind brings with it the truth is always true. And that's the silence. Wind is not silent, but there's both. So that's what I like about it. So thanks, Lonnie. Your words put something, and that's what I see all our words tickle something in me that I have no words for.
Thank you. All right, who's up to read next? I'm going to call on Patricia.
I would love to read. I'm still waiting for my book. It's
Okay.
supposed to be here between the 15th and the 26th of April. It
Okay.
would be my pleasure.
All right. All
Thank
right.
you.
Maybe we'll have you finish the entire book since you haven't been able to read.
Thank you.
All right. The next person that I see is Rick. Rick, are you up for reading?
Yeah, I have a sample of the book, so I'm able to read.
Okay, good.
Now think of it this way. It is very simple. Imagine that there is a landscape where there has been no music, or the only notes played were of such a low tone that you experience it as a hard sound. Now imagine that a new tone sings. A new tone is sung, and the new tone actually pierces the fabric of what was possible, what reality is or seems to be, and it is the note that awakens others. As others realize, know that it is possible, they find that they can sing it as well. You need the recognition that it could be done in order to accept your own potential. We have done this. Others have done this. It has been done. It is being done now because the participatory nature of this work actually requires that the song that you sing transcends the old reality and by being in its experience lifts the world to its true nature. Underline true. What is true is always true. It is not what you want it to be. It is what it is, beyond your desire, beyond any identity that you could hold that would hold a premise of separation.
You can keep going unless there's someone wants to say something. Would you read to the whole of that next paragraph, Rick?
Sure.
Thank you.
Now the idea of separation must be understood. Separation or belief that you are not in a unified state with the source of all things is actually untrue. There is no separation except that which you have claimed, and what you have claimed in the dense landscape that the common field is, that reality is withstanding great change in sequence, in linear sequence. At this time, as the energetic structure of what reality has been begins its collapse. And collapse is the right word. Now, when something collapses, it may happen gently, as in a whisper or with a great sound, a great boom, a great thunder. You can respond with laughter, you can respond with fear, and you can seek to ignore. But no one will ignore the changes that are occurring now, and they have been claimed by you, by all of you, like it or not, as a way to alter reality, because a level of vibration that it actually presents here is higher than you have known. And indeed, there is resistance to this transition and its occurrence. So you will seek to hold on to the old idea of what should be when you cannot or will not be able to do it in the times to come. That was a tongue twister for me, sorry.
No, you did great. Thank you. So we are being told again that the energetic structure of what we have interpreted as our reality is beginning to collapse. And I certainly can feel that in my own experience. And I also really appreciate that it says it can happen gently, as in a whisper, or with a great sound, a great boom, and a great thunder. And it feels now like it's a great sound, a great boom, and a great thunder, but it's also a whisper. It's all those things. William, and then Indigo.
I love the word collapse. And what that brings up for me is that I love to whistle. I don't know what I'm whistling. So it's like something just causes me to whistle. And it's like I just let go in something, whatever.
William, you hit your mute button.
How about I did that with my hand? Wow.
Cindy did it. I was lowering your hand and clicked the wrong button. I apologize.
And then what I noticed, if I were whistling, I wouldn't notice it, but without whistling, I think, oh, I did something wrong. And I love that I'm so aware that I spend so much time just watching this video thing going on across that conduit. It just has so much interesting videos in it. Anyway, whistling though, it's like surrendering to the moment of now. I feel the silence with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Indigo, and then Cindy. Cindy's going to close us out.
I love this because it's just saying how at least for me, I'm hearing it how it's kind of like an earthquake, or and I live in California, so we had earthquakes, really, really big earthquake. We had that really big earthquake, and to me, it's kind of like I'm actually seeing it with Trump and everything. Is that we're having an earthquake? I mean, it's not a physical earthquake, but we're having a shift, and it's like, okay, just be in it. It's perfect. We don't need to know it. We don't need to understand it. It's here for us because everything is here for us. And embrace it. Embrace it. Don't run away from it. Embrace it. It's here for us, and we'll be guided what to do when we need to do something. And so I love it because it's just it's God calling us. That's how I see it.
I think they're next door.
Say that again, Rick.
Oh, sorry. I had my, I was, never mind.
Me when the guides are next door.
Oh, thank you, Indigo. Thank you. I get what you're saying very much. It does feel that way. Thank you for that. Cindy.
Oh, I'm laughing. I'm laughing at muting and unmuting and chaos and collective whatever. And I just want to say right off the bat that Rick, I love your profile picture. I want one for Cindy now. I think it's stunning. I knew it was you right away as soon as you popped in, even though it was brand new. I was like, oh, look at Rick. Um, and also you said you had a sample of the book. If you want an open door to send you a copy, you just need to give me your address and I could get it to you right away. We're having trouble getting it to Mexico, but I've gotten it to Canada overnight. So yeah, an open door would love to gift you with a book. I wanted to highlight that this last sentence doesn't say there may be resistance. It says there is resistance. And somehow there's a relaxation around that. Like this sense that I'm supposed to just be fully surrendered. Well, you know what? The object, the sense of a separate self isn't always fully surrendered. Wants to be, but the old comes up and I see over and over and over and over again that sense of the devil. and looking at, wow, the devil, doubts the benevolence and the love and the security of God. And I can be all about dropping into faith and security and knowing that all is well, and still, man, these I used to call them inks, squid ink of fear, like the squid releases that black ink when it's frightened as a defense mechanism. I could see that just happens in Cindy's experience. And somehow when the guides say there is resistance to the new, it releases any sense of responsibility for thinking I could avoid that. It's going to happen. It's happening. And so there's a joy and a relaxation allowing whatever is occurring in this moment to occur, and to just continually do the best I can do to be present to it. So that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, it's 11:17, and I want to thank everyone for joining us for this reading. We will begin next week on page 8. At the bottom of the page, you seek to justify old choice. So I wish everyone a wonderful weekend and lots of love. And let's see if there's anything in the chat. Great insight. Well said, Indigo. And with that, I wish us all well.